Excuse me, what's going down? TK Pryor coming at you with the factual side of fractional reserve banking. Now, I really try to feel sorry for people because everyone's either too stupid to try to learn, or they just believe everything the government tells them and everything that the TV programs them, because everybody is lied or duped into basically getting robbed and getting money siphoned out of their pocket based on things they can't afford. Take buying a car or buying a house. Buying anything that you can't afford is a lie process that bends you over with no Vaseline and is a fraudulent contract, because the number one rule in merchant law is that both parties have to put up something of value. So how's it possible in any loan on this planet to equate value by the bank that's issuing the loan if they never put up anything other than your signature? So the whole process is fraudulent, because the bank technically takes your future debt, your future earnings, uses that as collateral based on your signature, underwrites it through a contract, excuse me, and then that becomes the money that's created out of thin air. So never does the bank actually loan any freaking money. Never does the bank actually pay for the item that you are trying to buy that you can't afford, whether it be a house, whether it be a freaking car. It's never paid for with any actual value. And nobody is smart enough to know that. In fractional reserve banking, the underwriting process creates money out of thin air. The physical loan itself is not based on equal parties giving something of value. You give your future wages, and it's at usury, because you're charged on the interest, or you're charged interest on the money that they create out of thin air. So that's even more rape, robbery, thievery, and fraudulent contracts. Who owns the loan when you assign it based on your future wages? Who owns it? You don't know, because on top of more fraudulent contract, more fraudulent robbery, they sell your loan sometimes 100 times over. You don't know that. The bank sells your loan sometimes between 10 and 100 times over. So first of all, there is not a real contract, because both parties in a merchant law agreement have to put up something of value. The only person that put anything up of value is you, and that's your future wages based on your signature. And then money is never really issued. It's created out of thin air, because the underwriting process in a loan is essentially saying the money that you're going to make and pay in the future is what they are basing the contract on. And then they charge money on, or I should say they charge interest on that money they create out of thin air. And then on top of that, they sell that loan sometimes 10 to 100 times to other institutions. So everything is bending you over backwards. Then you have more fraudulent situations where you have, like where I am, people who are deployed who make extra money, and then you have these car institutions that take that extra money in the same fraudulent contract I just mentioned at high interest. So not only are they usually charging you interest on money they create out of thin air, it's at a high interest rate, 21%. So it is a very negative fractional reserve banking system that bends you over and robs you fraudulently under pretenses that you don't understand, that you're not smart enough to realize. You don't realize that there is no equal value being exchanged in the contract that you're signing. You don't realize that they're going to sell that loan and make money off of it when they sell it. It's your future wages that creates the collateral. The promise to pay is your signature. So what I'm telling you guys is that whether you're buying a car or whether you're buying a house, if it's something you can't afford and you're going through the Western method of loan, it's all bullshit. And you can look this up and do some homework for those people who like to read or do some due diligence to verify everything I said. The fractional reserve banking process is a no Vaseline system that robs money out of your house based on your ignorance. There's no way that you should be paying money or interest on money that they create out of thin air through the loan process. There's no reason that you should voluntarily enter a contract when there's nothing of equal value being exchanged in the merchant agreement. There's no way that your loan should be sold 100 times to other institutions. And technically, when your loan is sold, it voids the original non-valid contract. So who owns your loan? How many times has your loan been sold? So look into these things and stop getting raped by fractional reserve banking. Get yourself educated to the point where you validate some of the things that I pointed out in this video. Usury, no valid merchant contract of equal value. Your signature being the promise to pay based on future wages. And then, of course, the situation of you actually paying interest, high interest. Oh, well, I get a low interest rate loan. But the loan is still based on a fraudulent process. Find out about your straw man. Find out about your cuspis number. Find out what role that plays in fractional reserve banking and how that ties into all of the loan processes. Or scroll past my video, call me a tin hat, and go on with your life. Keep getting bent over.